Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm super excited because I'm trying out a bunch of Sir John makeup tips today. If you don't know who Sir John is, he does the queen of all times makeup. Beyonce. He does Beyonce's makeup, okay? Lots of other celebrities as well, but he is Beyonce's #1 makeup artist and he is amazing. He's been in the game I think for like 10 years and he's worked in a ton of different industries and he's just so good. So I really enjoyed the videos that he did with both Desi and Shayla. I will link those videos down below if you want to watch them. They're like an hour long, but they feel like 20 minutes because they're so just easy to watch and entertaining and he's just so sweet. So if you want to see those, I'll link them down below. I loved them so much and enjoyed his tips so much for makeup that I really wanted to try them out on myself, and I feel like we got a really good result. So this is what the makeup look looks like. We're gonna get right into it right now. If you want to watch, go ahead and keep on watching. Why did I say that? Of course you're gonna watch it. Whatever. If you like what you see and you want to see more from me, go ahead and subscribe down below. I would love to have you keep watching my videos. We keep it really fun here. I love interacting in the comments with you guys. All right, subscribe down below if you would like to, and let's jump right into today's video. Okay, Sir John always starts with eyes, and he does not use a concealer or a colored primer on the lids at all. He likes to have the color of the lid show through, and when you're using a pigmented color on the lid, he said that he likes a base that's going to help enhance that color even more, not cancel it out. So today I wanted to try using this ColourPop single shadow. This is the Super Shock shadow in Muse. It's sort of a pinky metallic-y kind of shade. It's got good pigment and good reflect, but it's not insanely opaque. So I thought this would be a good one to try this technique out with. So he likes to use an eye kohl or a creamy kind of liner as a base that's going to kind of match the shade that's going on so that it can be enhanced a little bit. In one of his looks, he used a lip liner, so that's what I'm going to do today. Since this is a little bit more of like a pinky tone, I'm going to go ahead and use this Wet n Wild gel lip liner. This is in the shade of Plum Together, and I'm going to start drawing this on the lid closest to my lash line, and then we'll blend it out with a brush from there. Make sure that you're using something that's not waterproof, something that's really creamy, because that's what's going to blend out the easiest. If you're using something waterproof, you're going to have a really tough time trying to get it to blend, especially along the edges. So then I'm going to take this flat brush. This is a Morphe M204. I'm just going to start kind of blending away at the edges here. Okay. We'll go ahead and do the other eye. Now that the edges are sort of blended out, I'm just kind of swiping over the center of the lid here to pick up anything that's extra. I'm just wiping it off onto a paper towel, just so that nothing gets, moving around too much. Okay, I'm gonna trust the process because it kind of looked crazy at first when he started too. So we're just gonna keep going. It's hard because I have a lot of excess skin on my eyelids. So it's hard because I want to make sure that the shadow is coming up to my crease, but sometimes it's just not always exactly where I want it to be. But anyways, we're gonna try and just pop this color on top with my finger here. That base definitely helps bring out the pigment in it a lot. I'm trying to make sure I keep this just right on the lid because we're gonna go into the crease with some other deeper matte brown shades to give us a little definition in a minute. Now, Sir John seems to always have the process of laying down a cream and then setting it with a powder. For his cream contour or sculpting that he does, he likes something that's a little bit more cool toned. I have a cream foundation that I like to contour with, or kind of more bronze, because it's not the coolest tone ever. So ideally I'd have something a little bit more cool than this, but this will work for today because it's all I got. This is the Neutragena HydroBoost Hydrating Foundation Stick in Cocoa. I'm going to take a little flat brush. This is a different brush than I was using before. Get a little bit of product on there, and then he always kind of taps off a little bit too, so you don't end up with too much. And then I'm going to start kind of like mapping out where I want my crease. This is going to be really soft at first, especially because I'm new to this technique. So I don't want it to be too dark too quick. I want to really take my time here. Oh, I forgot to do my eyebrows. He always starts with eyebrows. We'll do that next. So the other thing that's nice about the way that he does makeup is, since we're doing our eyes first, we don't really need to worry about the shape on this outer corner because our concealer can help kind of shape the eye. That was one thing that really attracted me to this technique, I guess, the way that he does makeup, was that I can kind of correct anything that may have gotten droopy with my shadow or really uneven on both eyes. I can correct that with concealer. So that's, I'm hoping that works today for me. So I just laid down that shade in the crease and outer corner. Now I'm going into my, this is so dirty, this is my Milani Soft and Sultry palette with fingerprints all over it. I'm going to take this here shade in the center. This shade doesn't look like too much, but it's a very cool tone transition shade, and it's not very dark, so it'll be easy to kind of work slowly with this. And I'm going to use this to kind of just sweep over everything that we laid down in the crease already, and it'll just help kind of set it in place. The other thing that's really different about his way of doing makeup is he starts with the lid and works up into the transition shades, where a lot of us, well, a lot of YouTubers, I don't know, I do it the opposite way at least. I'll start with my lightest shades and work into my darkest. It seems like a lot of people who do professional, like celebrity makeup or other clients, kind of work the opposite direction. So it's kind of fun to try it that way. I feel like it got my lids to be a lot more even than normal. I don't know, what do you think? I feel like it's looking pretty good. I'm going into my Kat Von D Shade in Light palette, and I'm going to take this shade here because it's kind of more cool toned as well. I'm gonna pick this up on a small brush and sort of deepen that up just a tiny bit. It's very interesting to watch him do makeup because he just barely sweeps things on. It looks like nothing's happening, but it makes the biggest difference at the same time. So I'm trying really hard to kind of work in really light layers and with a soft hand so that things are just nice and blended and subtle, I guess. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and take that cream shade just underneath the lash line here. Trying to keep that pigment kind of just right tight into the lash line, so I'm using a lip brush actually, because they're a little bit smaller. I'm just really lightly trying to kind of feather the edge of that. And then taking a little bit of a bigger brush, I'm going to sweep that same brown just kind of underneath. I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like that did a lot to just kind of ground that shade a little bit. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if he highlighted the inner corner, but I'm going to take my ColourPop Lunch Money highlighter and highlight the inner corner a little bit, just because I think that looks nice. That's just going to be my little touch. Now let's do brows. So as far as brows go, he fills them in pretty, standard. He used a skinny pencil on Desi, and he used a brow powder on Shayla. I feel like you can kind of do whatever with your brows. The one tip he had was to take a spoolie brush at the end and set it with some wig glue, because wig glue is going to give you an insane amount of hold to your brows, but it's also going to wash out super easily. So that's one thing that I don't have. I've never had a wig. I don't have wig glue. So I'm just going to fill in my brows like normal. I'm using this Goof Proof brow pencil by Benefit. This one's not my favorite, I'm going to be totally honest. It's one of those more fat tipped pencils. So these I don't love for my brows. I feel like they get too creamy and give too much pigment too quickly. So I'm just going in really light-handed with this product here and hoping for the best. It's been okay so far. Okay, those aren't looking the best, but it's fine. Okay, that's about where I want to sit with the eyes for right now. So let's move on to the face. So Sir John really likes an egg sponge, is what he calls it. So a sponge with a round end, which would be like a beauty blender or something like that. I have this L'Oreal, I don't know which it is, I'll link this down below, but this has a nice little egg butt. So I thought I'd use this for foundation today. It really feels like you only need a light amount of foundation and just to add coverage where you need it. So I'm gonna use this L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation because I feel like this can give you a very natural finish and it can be built up really well as well. So I'm just gonna take like a pump on the back of my hand and I'm really going to try to work this evenly into the sponge in a really light layer here so we don't get too much too quick. And then I'm just gonna start right here. Oh, see, I already got a lot. Let's work that around a little bit. I love that everyone is leaning towards doing lighter amounts of foundation. I just feel like it wears so much better and it looks so much better throughout the day. It's more believable. It's more realistic too. Like, who's using 4 pumps of foundation? It's ridiculous, you know? I like doing my brows at the end of my makeup so that I don't have to be careful when I'm putting on my face products around them. So I'm just gonna kind of steer clear of the brows with my foundation and kind of clean up around there with concealer a little bit better. Okay, there's a light layer. I'm gonna take a little more in some spots and add up a little bit of coverage. I liked this sponge a lot at first, and then I feel like it didn't like wash very well. Like the texture changed when I washed it. Became like a little more stiff. So now I don't like it as much, but it was the only one with a round side that I had. So I feel like sponges too just like take forever. I feel like if I use a bigger like fluffy brush, I can get through with my foundation so much faster, and I'd way rather do that. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Another thing that I really liked that Sir John did was with concealer, he used that to kind of clean up and reshape the eyeshadow. So he used a really fluffy, like almost eyeshadow brush to apply the concealer with, and he kind of did it the same way. He would pick up a little bit at a time and just really softly feather it on and make sure that it was exactly where he wanted it to give him the shape that he wanted for the under eye area. So we're gonna try that today. I have this big fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm just picking up a little bit of concealer. This is when he really held the brush towards the tail here and just really gently feathered it on. I'll use it to brighten up this inner corner and along the sides of the nose a little bit as well. He said he can do someone's makeup for like an event, like one of his celebrity clients, in like 30 minutes. I just feel like that is unbelievable, you know? It's like unreal. How in the heck could you do this so quick? And on like an important person like that. Okay, I feel like that looks really good. I definitely need to go back in and kind of do those deeper matte shades just along the edge here, because that concealer kind of covered it up, but it's giving me the right like shape now, I feel like, so that's good. Yay, I'm excited about this. When I'm cleaning up this outer edge here, I'm really trying to look directly in the mirror and not move my eye shape, like lift my eyebrows or tilt my head back at all, so that I know exactly what it's gonna look like when my eyes are open. We're definitely gonna have to go in and kind of clean that up a little bit because it got a little weird out there, but that's the angle I like. It's just up really high instead of like out here. I'm just feathering like the tiniest bit of concealer above the brow area in case my foundation didn't really get to this spot at all because of that big sponge. Now this isn't a Sir John thing, but I'm gonna press a tiny bit of concealer over this here blemish. See if I can kind of cover that up a little bit. Let's go back into this shade right here and just gently swipe that back under the eye to give us that shape and blend that we want. Okay, I feel like that's pretty good for now. Not amazing. Once we put on mascara, then I think it'll all kind of come together a little bit better. But let's move on to the face. So again, he likes to kind of follow along with that idea of using a cream to lay down a base and then setting it with a shadow or kind of reinforcing it with a powder product. Now that we've got that concealer down, we're gonna use a really, really light amount of a loose setting powder. Sir John really said that he prefers a loose powder that's going to be really light and airy under the eye, so there's nothing that's gonna be weighing down that delicate area. He also likes something that's translucent. I have this translucent powder from Coty Airspun. It's definitely not translucent at all, but it is very like finely milled, it's very sheer, and it's not going to weigh down that eye area. So I'm just gonna get a very, very, very light amount and gently sweep that under the eye. And I'm not gonna put powder anywhere else, because I prefer my skin to look a little bit more realistic than what powder will do, and he also didn't set anywhere else. So now going in with our cream contour. Mine again is more of a cream bronzer because it's a little bit more warm tone than cool. It's not giving us quite the same like shadow, but it's as good as we can do. He again likes to work in really light layers, so he'll take it directly onto his brush, just like I do typically, and then he'll actually tap off quite a bit on the back of his hand, and then sort of flick and buff this into the skin. I actually really like that I took some off on the back of my hand already. I feel like it's making it a lot easier to blend. Trying to be a lot more light-handed than I typically am with bronzer. With this cream, I kind of push it into the skin a little bit aggressively, so I'm trying to be nice and soft with it. I'm just gonna do a tiny bit under the jawline as well. Not exactly sure if he did this or not, but we're doing it. Okay, then while we're here, he also did some of this as a nose contour. I have a really hard time doing a nose contour because my nose is shaped very straight and then a little more round at the end. So when people just kind of take a contour all the way down, it ends up looking very unflattering and fake on me. I'm gonna just try to do it a little bit, just like part of the way down with this cream contour color. He starts in the eye over here and then brings it down along where the natural shadows are on our nose, and starts to kind of slowly bring it up and in, right in here. And he does a very, very light amount, probably less than what I just did, but I'm trying. He also takes some just kind of under the nose here to give a nice shadow. We'll see what this does for me. I don't know. I have a really hard time finding a cream contour technique that actually works. See, now my nose looks really wide right there. Just entirely reshape my nose here. It kind of worked, didn't it? Okay, before we set that with powder, I'm just gonna pounce over this with my foundation sponge just to kind of tone it back a little, because it's not my favorite thing I've ever done to my face, but it doesn't look terrible, right? Then I'm actually going to take this same cool shade, even though this is an eyeshadow, just because it's so cool toned, it gives you the right shadow, and I'm just going to brush over all of that. That still doesn't work for me. The technique is great if you've got a nice straight nose, but I don't. It's not my favorite, but it's not terrible either. Okay, now let's go into cream highlight. I'm gonna dip back into Lunch Money from ColourPop, and using my ring finger because it applies the least amount of pressure. Sir John always uses his ring finger. It'll pick up the least amount of product. It'll do the least amount of pressure on your skin. We're just gonna kind of tap this in. Another tip too that he gave with highlighting is to not bring it in any further than the corner of your eye, because then if you're taking pictures or you're on film or anything like that, it can look really unkept, he says, which I could totally see that. You look almost like sweaty instead of glowy. That was another really good tip. Just anything shiny should stay on the outside corner of your eye. If you want a little bit more of a shimmery blush, that's okay. Just don't bring it in across here, especially if you're going to be photographed or something like that on the red carpet, which I'm sure all of us are. I'm just going to bring that to all the high points of my face here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set that now with a powder highlight. This is my e.l.f. Metallic Flare highlight in white gold. And he just used the highlight from his new collection, which looked beautiful, way too deep for my skin tone, but still really pretty. I'm just going to take this in on a small fluffy brush and really sort of buff into the skin. It really feels like a buffing motion will help to kind of sheer out, tone down any metallicness in the highlight. Also kind of gives it a more skin-like finish as opposed to a glittery finish. Okay, no huge tips for blush here, so I'm going to take my Satin Touch blush from Essence in Satin Love. This one's nice because it's a little more matte, so I can kind of bring it into this area and it's not going to look crazy. And then I'm going to pounce over especially just the front portion and just underneath my cheekbones here. Oh, I never set my powder contour. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to take my Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in Sunlight. This one's nice and cool toned. It's a matte shade, so it's going to give us that depth. And I'm going to take this on a small brush and just set down my contour. Add a little bit more of a shadow there. Totally forgot to do this 5 seconds ago, so my bad. We're doing it now. It's fine. Okay, and then before we do lips and finish off the mascara on the eyes, I'm going to set my skin. Honestly, can't remember if you did this, but I feel like this just helps me to feel really secure about my makeup and make it look very skin-like. And then I'll just kind of pounce that in very, very lightly. Okay, and then before mascara, he curls everyone's lashes. Most people curl their lashes. I never do it because I have these couple on the outer corner that droop down kind of no matter what. I like can't get them all into the lash curler, but I'm gonna try it today because he does it. So why not? I have a couple here and they are very old and very grimy, so I'm very sorry about that. But again, I never do it, so it doesn't matter to me so much. This one's just from Revlon, so we'll just go ahead and try to curl these lashes. Wow, I haven't done this in so long. I'm a little nervous. Let's see if I got everything. I'm just gonna give it a couple light pulses. See, I missed some right there. I can't get them ever. If anyone has tips for getting their outer corner lashes inside of a lash curler, I'd love to know, because I am struggling. Maybe I got them. Not gonna know until I put on mascara, so here we go. Hopefully I got them all. Okay, I just threw on my L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, which is actually the mascara that he used. I feel like curling it like helped at first, but now I feel like it kind of looks like normal. I don't know. What do you think? Can you tell a difference? Yeah, when I was first putting it on, I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty. And now I'm like, I don't know. Does anyone else have that same experience with lash curlers? Let me know, because maybe I'm using it wrong. I don't know. Sir John in both of his videos made it clear that he doesn't really care about lips at all. So I'm just going to go in with my regular lip combo. First, I'm going to put on a little chapstick. I like to wear a really light layer of chapstick underneath my lip products. And plus, I can kind of use that to blot off any foundation that was on the lips. Then I'm going to take my LA Girl lip liner in Nonstop Nude just to kind of line a little bit. Okay, then we're gonna go in with my favorite lipstick at the moment, just a nude that I've been rocking every single day. This is the Maybelline lipstick in Nude Lust. I tried this out in a full face of Nothing New. I called it Nothing New because I've used this formula already. It was just a new color, so I'll link that video down below. Tons of old favorites I rediscovered in that video, so if you're interested, I'll link that down below. This just is my perfect nude. Oh my goodness. I can wear this without lip liner too, and it looks just as beautiful. It's perfect for any sort of look. If you're going for, you know, cool tones, warm tones, basic eye, smoky eye, it works with everything. And then we'll top it off with my favorite, the Tarte Sugar Rush Lip Oil. And we are all set. This was everything. I feel like everything turned out really well. My skin doesn't look too much different than it normally does, but I feel like it will last a lot longer because there's lighter layers of product, but also the creams with the powders on top will help to kind of reinforce and reinsure that everything lasts a really long time throughout the day. So I really like that. But yeah, what do you guys think? I feel like my shadow looks a lot more like a good angle considering how, you know, foldy my eyes are, it's kind of hard to get a good angle for my eyeshadow, but I feel like that trick kind of helped, of like using a fluffy brush with a concealer to kind of clean up. I'm so pleased with everything. You know, Sir John just seemed like the sweetest person in the whole wide world. I feel like he would be just so kind and make everyone feel so loved and so important, but still be very sincere about it, you know? I loved watching those videos. I'll link those two down below so that you can see them because they were so good, and I love him now, and I'm so happy I tried out these makeup tips, and hopefully you guys learned something new and something fun and enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!